Coming up on News Live at 6, SU College Republican set to host a January 6th participant, who he is and why he's coming to Syracuse.
Plus, Brandon Williams and John Mannion come to campus for their first debate, what they had to say about abortion, student debt, and so much more.
Today, September 30th, 2024, I jump into the race to be your next mayor of Syracuse.
And the city's mayoral race is heating up as the candidate endorsed by Mayor Walsh kicks off her campaign. News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Controversy is sparking on campus with the college Republicans set to host an attendee of the January 6th riot. Welcome into News Live at 6. I'm Dillon Brendle.
And I'm Cora Costa. That's where we find our Caitlin Campbell, who's at HBC Krause, where Brandon Straka is expected to start his speech to students within the hour. Caitlin, what can we expect?
Hey, good evening, Dillon and Cora. Yes, just behind me here at the Gifford Auditorium, Brandon Straka is set to speak tonight at 7. He's a former Democrat turned Republican in 2018 when he started the hashtag Walk Away campaign amongst the U.S. midterm elections when he was encouraging Democratic voters to actually leave the Democratic Party. Now, it was argued that he actually participated in the January 6th insurrection. Now, he was given 3 years probation and a $5,000 fine for his participation after pleading guilty to disorderly conduct. Tonight at 7, here he will be speaking about his idea of, quote, awakening the youth here at Syracuse University. Students can expect to hear more about that and what is going on. Now, Student Association initially denied his funding from college Republicans to come here for just over a little bit over $1,000. But they still took to Instagram today, SU College Republicans, announcing the event and saying that the event will still go on here tonight at Gifford Auditorium. That's all I have right now. Guys, back to you.
Caitlin, thank you. We have team coverage of the first congressional debate in New York's 22nd district. That happened right here on campus.
Lou Gradle is here to break down the race between Congressman Brandon Williams and State Senator John Mannion. But first, here's our Mike Lamort with the highlights.
My opponent cannot be trusted.
I got to tell you, women don't like being lied to, John.
Williams and Mannion joining here in Newhouse for the first time to debate on the New York 22 congressional race. With questions not asked at your average debate.
What's your favorite Central New York restaurant?
Possibilities.
I like Palladino's Pizza.
This congressional showdown is a lot more intimate than usual. Congressman Brandon Williams and Senator John Mannion sat right next to each other, debating heavy topics like abortion.
If it's a monumental victory to take away a woman's right to choose, then I don't believe you understand where women are and their supporters in New York 22.
It's very disingenuous, and it's playing on the fears of women.
A recent advertisement from the DCCC, as well as comments from the Mannion campaign, claim Williams can't be trusted regardless and that he would sign an abortion ban. Citrus TV was able to speak with the incumbent one-on-one for further clarification on his stance after the debate.
Well, I believe in our federal, our federal system, which means that states have their own sovereignty and their own rights. They gave this very contentious issue in our nation, and they made it a states' rights issue. And I think that's a terrific victory for our Constitution.
Senator Mannion gave brief comments after the debate, but had to leave quickly, thanking Newhouse for hosting the event. The candidates will participate in 3 more televised debates, with the next one airing live on WCNY-TV October 8th. For Citrus TV News, I'm Michael Lamort.
Yeah, Mike, thank you. Now let's bring in Citrus TV political analyst Luke Radel. Luke, how did both of the candidates do last night?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good debate. I thought it was a civil conversation, which is similar to what we've heard from the VP debate, which also happened a few hours later last night. A lot of similarities there. The Republican candidate on both stages, J.D. Vance and Brandon Williams, I think were the stronger debaters of the two candidates, a little bit more slick on the policy matters, but both of them really had a command of the issues and the facts going into the debate. There were a couple of facial expressions from both of them that were a little interesting. It was interesting to see them on the Live from Studio B set for sure, but we would love to have them come back to campus a little bit more often. I think an interesting contrast was that, Senator Mannion said that Brandon Williams was afraid to defend his record, but he actually stuck around for more than a half an hour after the debate to take questions from student reporters. Senator Mannion, as you saw there, kind of headed out the exits after 3 just short questions from student journalists. So we'd love to hear more questions asked of Senator Mannion.
Yeah, I mean, also it's interesting because you did mention it's at the Live from Studio B set, so that's here at Newhouse.
Yeah.
Now, how did these candidates do at addressing the issues that impact students here at SU?
Yeah, a student, a grad student, or I'm sorry, it was an undergrad student, but asked a question relating to the cost of college, and both candidates agreed that college is way too expensive. And I think we can all personally fact check that as being absolutely true. And they're all taking different steps, different approaches to trying to mitigate that problem. But a really interesting part of the debate for me was actually on the issue of Social Security, where Brandon Williams was asked what to do about the fact that those programs might go insolvent within the next decade. And he didn't really offer any specific solutions, just said that there need to be bipartisan conversations that are had on that issue. He doesn't want to answer the question. He dodged the question because that's a very important issue to voters over the age of 65. And I think a lot of times candidates like Brandon Williams and John Mannion just assume that young voters are not going to turn out to the polls. And so it's important for young people to get out there, get registered to vote, and show up on Election Day.
Absolutely, Luke. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's go to new details now. With multiple candidates in the running for Syracuse's mayoral seat, one Democrat is looking like the frontrunner. Reporter Ben Bassick was downtown this week for her announcement.
Very disingenuous, and it's playing on the fears of women. And I got to tell you, women don't like being lied to, John, and you really should take note as you make these false statements.
30 seconds, final word, John.
Part of the agenda.
Shortly.
The corner of Allman and Fayette Street in downtown Syracuse was just another forgotten city project in the shadow of I-81. But at 5:30 p.m., it became the campaign launch pad for Deputy Mayor Sharon Owens.
Today, September 30th, 2024, I jump into the race to be your next mayor of Syracuse. We are in a moment, Syracuse, and we can't squander it.
Owens stood alongside other elected officials, nonprofit chairs, and community leaders in front of the AME Zion Church, a relic of Syracuse's 15th Ward.
It is the only building that's still standing. It took us a while to get here, but that highway is coming down.
Owens addressed the city's declining population while noting the critical importance of voting down ballot in local and state elections, not just national.
Our future has a space for you.
People can come and start a new life.
You guys know I love Kamala Harris, but Kamala Harris is not going to fill in your pothole. Make a plan to vote.
But will current Mayor Walsh overshadow Owens' campaign hopes?
There are some people who have said to me, I'm just going to be Ben Walsh Part 2. Ben Walsh will tell you I'm not Ben Walsh Part 2. Do I have his support? Yes.
Ben Walsh's name recognition is his. I'm establishing my own.
When I say Sharon, you say Owen. Sharon! Sharon!
She's boots on the ground, accessible, she's real, and she's going to do a phenomenal job. So I'm all in. When 81 comes down, 481 comes up. You're coming through the town to do it.
Reporting from downtown Syracuse, I'm Ben Bassick, CitrusTV News.
Ben, thank you. Cora, I'm a broken record saying this. Another Wednesday, another cloudy, gloomy day.
It really is terrible. I mean, it's just windy, cold, not too good. But here, our Spencer Congel could tell you, Spencer, will it last?
Well, Cora, I've got some good news. The rest of this week is looking pretty sunny. I will get to that later in the show. But today, right now, like you guys were talking about, pretty rainy day. Not too rainy, not pouring rain, but yes, pretty rainy. Definitely pretty cold. That rain brought some cold temperatures in with us today and some light showers throughout the day that we've been seeing. Now, later tonight, things are going to get even cooler. We're going to see a low of 48 degrees overnight. One of the first times we're seeing temperatures in the 40s, but hopefully we'll all be comfy in bed while it's that cold out. And things will come and warm back up tomorrow. And now, really quickly, I want to touch on our fall foliage report, which I'll try and bring you every week. We're seeing the leaves just starting to change around most of New York State, including central New York. So keep an eye out for those leaves as we go through the next few weeks. That's all I've got for weather for now. Cora, over to you.
Thank you, Spencer. It's official. The string of hotel closures in Syracuse continues. Earlier this morning, the Crown Plaza made their expected but awaited announcement that they will no longer accept reservations and are relocating all bookings. The plaza will begin their transition to an apartment complex in hopes to provide more housing downtown. For questions about existing reservation changes, check your inbox for any emails from the company or search visitsyracuse.com online.
The city is partnering with local mental health care company Helio Health to assist 911 dispatchers. It's launching the Syracuse Crisis Intervention and Prevention Program, or SCIP for short. The program will employ new call center workers specifically trained in substance abuse crisis prevention. It's funded by the city's $800,000 opioid settlement from this summer. The team from Helio will also be downtown Monday through Saturday to see where support is needed and urge residents to call 911 when they see drug-related incidents.
Just up 690, a man was arrested yesterday for trespassing in Baldwinsville High School. Local police say 25-year-old Jack Grip entered the school after classes but before dismissal. They say Grip was there to play basketball after feeling nostalgic about his alma mater. Then, when attempting to flee the scene, the incident caused a district-wide lockdown. Grip was released from custody for having, quote, no ill intent, but is now banned from district property. He is set to appear in village court on October 16th.
Senator Chuck Schumer today unveiled the upstate region will receive $9.4 million to both boost small businesses and grow the developing semiconductor industry. This mostly federal funded program will come from the State Small Business Credit Initiative. With this money, New York will launch the Semiconductor Growth Access Program in hopes of providing tech, legal, and financial support to small businesses that adopt a microtech supply chain.
After the break, our Mike Lamort takes us from one debate to another, what the potential vice presidents had to say regarding the future of our country.
And New York City Mayor Eric Adams begins his legal corruption battle. What's next? Ahead, when your campus news leader returns.
Dad, they took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
You're watching Citrus TV News live at 6 with Dillon Brendle, Cora Mayor Costa, and Spencer Congel. Now, your campus news leader continues.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. Federal prosecutors may pursue additional charges and defendants in the public corruption case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams after day one in court. After 5 resignations in his administration over the past 3 weeks, the mayor still claims he took no foreign bribes.
Yeah, the original indictment listed a decade of allegations of accepting $100,000 in free flights, hotel stays, and illegal campaign contributions. Adams' lawyer says the case is practically an airline upgrade corruption case and has filed sanctions against those prosecuting the mayor.
Overnight polls from CBS News gives Ohio Senator J.D. Vance a slight edge over Minnesota Governor Tim Walz in their respective debate performances.
Our Mike Lamort has what you need to know from the first and last vice presidential debate before Election Day.
That is a damning non-answer. It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship.
The New York City stage was set last night for a CBS debate with far less back and forth than we previously seen with Trump and Harris. However, Walz did push Vance to answer the January 6th question, and the 40-year-old senator beat around the bush.
I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election? Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020
The
COVID
position
situation?
questions toward Vance didn't stop there. In fact, a CBS moderator questioned the senator on previous negative comments he made towards his own running mate.
I was wrong about Donald Trump because I believed some of the media stories that turned out to be dishonest fabrications of his record. But most importantly, Donald Trump delivered for the American people.
Gun control was a hot-button topic during the debate, with a recent focus on school shootings. Walz was poignant on more government action with guns, while Vance says schools need to be made safer.
The idea that we can magically wave a wand and take guns out of the hands of bad guys, it just doesn't fit with recent experience, so we've got to make our schools safer. There are reasonable things that we can do to make a difference. It's not infringing on your Second Amendment. And the idea to have some of these weapons out there, it just doesn't make any sense.
Now, overnight CBS News polls give Senator Vance a slight edge in favorable debate performance by just 1%. Overall, almost all voters view the event as a positive debate between the two vice presidential candidates. And with 33 days left until the election, this is likely the only vice presidential debate we will see. For Citrus TV News, I'm Mike Lamort.
Thank you, Mike. Vice President Kamala Harris was in Georgia earlier today following the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. She received briefings from local and state officials on the continued recovery efforts going on across a majority of the state.
President Biden also traveled to the Carolinas to visit areas that have sustained recent severe damage, the administration saying officials would survey the damage once it would no longer distract from rescue operations.
After the break, I'll have your full 5-day forecast and a look at the temperatures we're expecting this October. Don't go anywhere.
Women are bad with money.
That's what the world's been saying for centuries. But now, we've got something to say.
Save it. Save the old-fashioned advice, the empty excuses. It's all worthless, unlike us.
To our fellow females, it is time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Contributing to our futures, investing in our independence.
Until we're no longer 80%
more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So again, we say to that, save it.
The falsehoods, the feelings of fault, then the funds.
Learn how to save for your retirement at wesaysaveit.org.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. As we take a look at our 5-day forecast here, After today, the sun is going to come back out for quite a little while. We are going to expect some evening rain Friday night. There's a 30% chance of some rain Friday evening into Saturday morning. And we will likely see some rain Sunday evening going into Monday, where next week is looking a little rainy. Temperatures in the low 70s, high 60s throughout this week and weekend. Now, as we move over into our October temperatures, of course, I want to make sure that you're prepared for the month of October. And for October, last year, these are the temperatures from October 2023. We saw a high of 88 degrees and a low of 36. But as the month goes, the temperature deltas, we're seeing a much more steady temperature this month than we usually do. So if you guys are going to plan on going outside anytime in October, which I hope you are, you're going to probably be seeing temperatures anywhere between 40 and 60 degrees. Maybe we'll see a couple of days a little warmer, maybe a couple of days a little cooler, but kind of the perfect fall month to do all of your favorite fall activities like apple picking and things like that. So that's all I've got for weather for now. Dillon and Cora, back over to you.
Yeah, Cora, I guess if it's not a Wednesday, the sun is allowed to come back out.
No, exactly. And that's good news that the sun will come out soon, because it is my birthday soon. So I'm really excited for that. Hopefully the weather will be good. But let's take a live look at I-81 right now. As we can see, drivers, listen up to this. As we can see on your screens right now, going into the city, traffic is very light, not too much. Going out, a little bit more traction you'll see just because people are going home from work. So I-81 southbound and northbound were reduced to one lane today between exit 78 for the Onondaga Nation and the on-off ramps along the bridge over Route 11 in the town of Onondaga. The closures will also run from 8 to 5 tomorrow, and Friday workers will be inspecting a bridge.
Yeah, let's also take a look at the stocks to see how the markets did today. The three major indexes are all up slightly. The Dow rising almost 0.1% and 71 points. The S&P up just over 100th or 11 points. And the NASDAQ also up just under 1/10. That's 58 points. Taking a look at the top relevant movers today, Humana is sliding under 12% after low ratings released for the U.S. Medicare plans. Conagra Foods, known for Slim Jims and Ozempic, skinnying down 8%. And Nike down 6 3/4 after their yearly earnings released today. But what's not down? The Mets in their playoff opener. How's it looking, Sean?
That's right, Dillon. The Mets stock is through the roof right now. New York is in the playoffs for the first time in 2 years. Find out how they squeaked in and if they have a chance against the Brewers after the break.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
The Mets are one of the hottest teams in baseball right now and secured their spot in the playoffs on Monday with a win over the Braves. Welcome into sports. I'm Sean Dempsey. After that win, the Mets headed to Milwaukee yesterday to take on the Brewers. With lack of sleep and a long flight and short turnaround, the Mets defied the odds and took down the Brewers 8-4 in Game 1 of the wild card round. Mark Vientos hit a tie-breaking 2-run single during a 5-run explosion in the 5th inning, but the job is not finished for New York. In 2022, Major League Baseball transitioned to a best-of-3 wild card series so the Mets can advance to the divisional round with a win over the Brewers tonight. First pitch is at 7:30, so make sure to tune in for that one. But also in the playoffs are their crosstown rivals, the Yankees. The Yanks stand as the #1 seed in the American League. New York plays the winner of the Orioles and the Royals in the divisional round. The Bronx Bombers have made the playoffs 8 of the last 9 seasons. Last year, the Yanks went 82-80 and missed the postseason, so New York hopes this year it can make some noise in October and bring a pennant back to the Big Apple. But in other news, in MetLife Stadium, the Jets just couldn't get it done against the Broncos. New York lost 10-9 in a defensive battle to Denver on Sunday. The letdown performers in this one were New York's Breece Hall and Aaron Rodgers. Hall tallied just 10 carries for 4 yards on the ground, by far and away his worst performance on the season. Rodgers didn't have a great game either and definitely let down his fantasy football team owners. The veteran QB threw for just over 200 yards with no touchdowns but also no interceptions either. It wasn't just the 2 offensive stars to blame though. The Jets as a team had 13 total penalties, totaling just under 100 yards. New York aims to bounce back next week in London against the tougher opponent, the undefeated Minnesota Vikings. If you want to, stay up and watch that one, you're going to have to wake up a little bit earlier because kickoff is at 9:30 Eastern for that one. And speaking of football, Syracuse football travels out west this weekend for another ranked matchup. Syracuse takes on number 25 UNLV on Saturday for their toughest test of the season thus far. The Rebels are undefeated so far this season with wins over Kansas, Fresno State, and Houston. The Orange are coming off a rocky first half against Holy Cross, but SU still got the win. The Raiders average over 40 points per game this season and hold their opponents to less than 2 touchdowns. Someone who could have a big game for the Orange is quarterback Kyle McCord. The Ohio State transfer averages over 350 passing yards a game, and ULV hasn't faced a high-end passing attack like SU so far this season. Cuse is currently 6-point underdogs on the road, but kickoff is set for 9 p.m. for that one. Guys?
Yeah, Sean, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I'm already looking ahead at next year for the Orange, and this recruiting class is looking kind of good.
It looks really good. I know we have to focus on this season, but coming up in next season, they have a 4-star in Demetrius Samuel, a cornerback, and 2 3-stars in an offensive tackle and wide receiver, so Fran Brown's doing a really good job.
Well, that's very exciting to look forward to. When we come back, your wake-up weather.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
Tomorrow when you wake up, it's going to start off pretty chilly, 50 degrees, but then as you can see, it's going to get hot and it's going to get hotter pretty quick. Not that hot, but we are going up to 73 degrees, and tomorrow is expected to be a nice, beautiful, clear, sunny day. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. That's all I've got for weather for now. Dillon and Cora, for one last time, back to you at the desk.
Don't get me too excited with that nice weather, Spencer. It's going to break my heart when I wake up to rain tomorrow.
Yes, that's it for News Live at 6, though, on this Wednesday.
Don't forget, you can follow us on X and Instagram at CitrusTV News. Now, for the entire Citrus TV News team, I'm Cora Costa.
And I'm Dillon Brendle. Have a great night, Syracuse.